My name is Eliza. I'm 25, living in Chicago, Illinois. And this is the story of the day I was fired, the day that should have destroyed me, but instead gave me back everything. It was a Tuesday afternoon, the kind where the office hums with quiet focus. I was bent over quarterly sales data, papers spread across my desk like puzzle pieces when the door slammed open. Andrew stormed in, no knock, his face flushed with power. He tossed a file so hard it skidded across my desk. "Eliza, we need to talk, now." My heart jumped, but I kept calm. That was my habit, never give men like him the outburst they want. I gestured to the chair. He didn't sit. He just loomed, his shadow spilling across my spreadsheets. "The board has decided to restructure," he said, voice sharp, rehearsed. "We need vision. We need leaders, not someone buried in spreadsheets." I blinked. The words stung like a slap. "You're firing me." His lips twisted into a smug smile. "Let's not be dramatic. We're releasing you." Effective immediately, 4 years I had worked for him. My department had just delivered the highest revenue growth in 3 years. And none of it mattered. He wanted me gone. I asked quietly, "Why?" "You lack vision," he said. "You manage tasks, not people. And frankly, this industry needs assertiveness, confidence, qualities you don't exactly have." There it was, the truth. Not about my work, but about me. About being a woman who didn't fit his mold. He wanted someone louder, brasher. Someone like him. I nodded. Calm, neutral. He expected tears or rage. He got neither. "I'll need your badge and laptop by 5. He said briskly, already turning away. "HR has your severance." I extended my hand. "Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate the clarity." He hesitated, shook it, muttered, "Good luck," and walked out like a man convinced he'd won. But what Andrew didn't know was that 2 weeks earlier, everything had changed. On my 31st birthday, I got a call from Mr. Harrington, our family Leah. "Eliza," he said warmly, "your father left instructions. Something you were not to see until today." I drove to his office, nerves buzzing. He handed me an envelope sealed with my father's wax stamp. Inside was a letter, written in his neat hand. "Eliza, if you're reading this, you're 31. I never doubted you, not for a moment. I saw your sacrifices, the late nights, the integrity others missed. I knew the company might drift after I was gone. I wanted you to have more than a seat at the table. So I left you the table. Behind it was a trust agreement. 90% of our ENC's shares were mine." My breath caught. Hands trembling, I looked up. "It's real," Mr. Harrington said gently. "Your father structured it to stay off public record until now. You control everything. Why not sooner?" I asked. He smiled faintly. "He wanted you to see the company as it is. To know who revealed their true colors before you stepped in." And oh, had Andrew revealed them? I didn't strike immediately. I waited silent while Andrew preened. Then he fired me and handed me the perfect opening. I texted Mr. Harrington that afternoon. "It's time," the following week. The shareholder meeting was set. I prepared. I gathered reports. Morale down 38%. Turnover up nearly half, revenue flat despite a booming market. Discrimination complaints buried in HR, lavish bonuses waste. Proof of everything Andrew had done. The night before the meeting, I stood in front of my mirror in a navy suit I'd bought long ago but never dared to wear. I practiced my words, not a speech. Just the truth. Tuesday morning, I walked into rank. Colleagues blinked in surprise, but didn't stop me. Mr. Harrington met me at the elevator. "He thinks this is just a strategy review," he whispered. I opened the boardroom door. Andrew froze mid-sentence. "Eliza, this is for board members only." "Exactly," I said, taking the head seat. "I'm here as majority shareholder." Gasps filled the room. I slid the documents across. 90% of the company is mine. Legal, binding, effective. "Now," Andrew sputtered. "This is a coup." "No," I said evenly. "This is accountability." I laid out the evidence, the wasted money, the poisoned culture, the buried complaints. You banked on no one challenging you. That ends today. Then I erased the final paper. Effective immediately. I moved to remove Andrew Ree as CEO. My 90% vote carries it, the secretary whispered. Stunned. You don't need a second, not with a majority. I said. Andrew slammed the table. Face red, but he had no power left. He stormed out, smaller than I had ever seen him. I turned to the board. This company deserves better. So do its people. And starting today, that's exactly what they'll get, and I meant it. The weeks that followed were the hardest and most rewarding of my life. I rehired veterans Andrew had discarded, promoted overlooked employees, fired toxic managers. I launched a people-first initiative. Recognition, fairness, no more ceilings. At first, people were wary. But slowly the office changed. Laughter returned. Desks sprouted plants and family photos again. One day I saw a note scrawled on the break room whiteboard. She came back. Not she won. She came back. That note meant more to me than any title. A year later, I stood in the glass lobby as CEO. The company had its strongest quarter in years. Retention soared. Revenue climbed. But more than numbers, the spirit of the place was alive again. Like it had been in my father's time. I kept his portrait behind my desk. Late one night, the city lights spilling in. I whispered, "We did it, Dad, not just victory. Home."